Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, Jackie Cation here. You're listening to The Dork Forest. You know the websites, dorkforest.com, thedorkforest.com if you like a determiner. JackieCation.com has everything. Both of my podcasts, all of the stand-up stuff, the new album, links to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the things. But so, I think, does dorkforest.com, where you can look at old videos of different shows. Anyway, if you want to support the show, tell people about the show, review it on iTunes, thumbs it up on Pandora or Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. I appreciate that. You can donate. You can donate monthly. PayPal lets you do that. You can also do my Venmo if you like. It's at Jackie Cation, absolutely everywhere. And my email address is jackie@jackiecation.com, and that's what the PayPal is. The PayPal link is on jackiecation.com and dorkforest.com. And go to any of them. Thanks for listening. There's merch, there's stand-up, there's tour guide. You know, you can find out where I'm touring. This is getting long, so let's get into the show. Hey, Jackie Cation in my garage doing a Dork Forest with a long-time want to be on the show, but clearly just needed to have a washer dryer behind her before it happened. Irene 2, new album out. Right now, I think, March 25th is when it comes out for reals. You can pre-order it. It's called We're Done Now, Irene 2. And it's at Irene_2. TU is spelled TU. So welcome to the program, Irene 2.
Thanks, Jackie. Again, yes, I've always wanted to do the show, but I felt like an imposter, you know, that I didn't have anything to dork out about.
Oh, not imposter syndrome. Not again.
Yeah, I know. On a podcast, of all things.
I know. Hard to, right. Attainable goal to be on. There's absolutely there's no reason to fear This is a free podcast. I ask people to donate, and many people do. But for the most part, people are listening for free. So don't feel obligated to be that entertaining.
That's fair. If they had to pay $10, I really felt like I would have to bring it. You would bring it. You would say to yourself, I want people to buy my album. That's why you worked on the material for years. And now it's out. We're done now. And they should totally give you $10 or $20 for that, because that is something that is real. That's true.
March 25th, Irene 2, stand-up comedy. She's a great comic, you guys. Get on it. But let's talk about your dorkdom, which is weird because I had never heard of it until I moved here. It's a fast food restaurant called In-N-Out.
In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger. It's a burger place. And it is not fast.
Okay, well, first of all...
Right.
I also had never heard of it before I moved to California, because I'm from the Midwest, just like you. I'm from Chicago, and we don't have In-N-Out Burger there.
No.
We had a lot of McDonald's.
Sure.
Which I find very mediocre.
Sure. And they aspire to no more than that.
Yeah,
yes.
They're like, we make good fries that we might put crack in, but...
Other than that,
terrible.
It's nothing to write home about, unless that's your fast food of choice. Everyone has a fast food of choice. I don't know. Would In-N-Out Burger be your fast food of choice? It's not fast enough
100%.
for me. Okay.
That's fair. It's not fast enough, but that's because it's actually good.
That's because they take time to cook it after you've ordered it.
Well, they have all their ingredients fresh. Like, it's never frozen. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. And then you walk in, you say, I would like a burger. And then they take that burger out of the fridge.
They kill a cow in the background, and then they make the burger.
And they begin the journey of 15 to 20 minutes to get a burger. So
yeah, I mean, it can be faster than that.
Can it?
I think so.
I've only been there twice. I don't know anything about it. Yeah. Here's what I know about In-N-Out Burger. It is privately held by a family.
Yes.
It is. They have always paid their managers almost double what McDonald's and Pizza Hut and those places pay.
Yeah, they pay their employees really well.
Yeah,
you can, if you're full time, you can have like benefits, like you like medical, dental, vision, like all that 401k. Like they pay all their employees super well, which is not common with any of the fast food restaurants.
Not common at all. It's sort of it's done in a half-assed fashion at Starbucks, but they were essentially the first ones to do it. They mean it. And the other thing I know is that on the bottom of their cups, there's usually a Jesus thing.
There's usually a Bible.
Yes, they are. I think one of the family members was like, I'm going to start putting Christian stuff
on the bottom of the cup.
And maybe on the bag too. I think it's like somewhere else. There's just like a little like, I don't know, maybe John 3:16 kind of situation.
But I don't think it's John 3:16. That's what I like about it. Is that
it's a different one.
It's a deep
same
cut.
Vibe.
It's a deep cut. Yeah.
Different name, different numbers. Same vibe,
It's a B-side. They're not going with the hits. They're just trying. Yeah, you know what? I appreciate that. So that's what I know about In-N-Out Burger. I now know that their meat is never frozen, kind of like Wendy's.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've never really gone to Wendy's.
Well, Wendy's has that claim that their meat is never frozen.
Yeah. So apparently, In-N-Out Burger, their whole thing is because it's really mostly in California and then a couple other states like in the Southwest, like close to here.
Right, like next to California.
Yeah, it's like whatever states next to California might have a couple In-N-Out Burgers, but there's like none in the Midwest and none on the East Coast.
True that.
Yeah. And their whole thing is they won't open an In-N-Out Burger unless it's like within like 300 miles of like their processing plant where they have like the meat and stuff. Oh. And that's how they keep it fresh.
Okay.
So that's how they never freeze it.
So like in LA, there's probably 6 or 7, I think, at least.
Yeah, maybe even more. There's a ton.
Yeah, and it's accessible. And so there must be several processing plants around. And it's interesting because they sometimes they have seating and sometimes it's just outdoor seating, right?
Yeah, so there's one by where I live that's just a drive-through, like one of the older drive-throughs, and there's no indoor seating. There's just like the little...
There might be a bench.
There's like a hut in the middle, like that's like where they take your orders and order the food.
Yep.
And then there's 2 lanes of drive-throughs, so they like kind of alternate when they take your order, and then you just pick it up at the window and pay in the same window and you leave.
Okay.
And then there's like parking and then like a little bit of outdoor seating, and there's like a walk-up window where you can order.
Okay.
But that's not... You should never order through the walk-up window if it's a drive-through only In-N-Out Burger.
Really?
Huge mistake, because they prioritize the drive-through part of it.
Oh.
So you get really screwed over.
So that might be why it took me 20 minutes to get a burger.
Oh, did you walk up?
Always. I've never driven
Yeah, that's a mistake.
It felt like a waste of gas. But if it's faster...
Yes. Well, I think if there's like a drive-through and indoor seating, depending on how the line is indoors, you can order inside. But if it's only drive-through, it takes like twice as long to order at the window.
Okay, so when was the first In-N-Out Burger? So you moved here from Chicago, and and people rave about it. You walk into the Los Angeles area,
love it.
There's a lot of Badit in it. You got to go to In-N-Out Burger. And so which one was your first? Where did you go? And do you remember? What do you remember about an early In-N-Out Burger experience?
Yeah, I will say, I think the first maybe 1 or 2 times I had it, I thought it was overrated.
Well, it's because it is hyped so hardcore.
That's the problem.
It would be hard to live up to.
Yeah, because they're like, this is the greatest thing ever. And you're like, I mean, it's a hamburger. Like, it can't be possibly that good.
Yeah.
So then you have it and you're like, I mean, I guess this is good. I don't know. Am I supposed to feel something different? Like, I just was like, this is like a burger that tastes good. Like, I can't understand why you love it. But also, I think I didn't order the correct order.
Oh, interesting. So there are, because
there's different things
menu.
You can order.
It's a
small menu, very small menu. That's their whole thing. It's like they only have burgers, cheeseburgers, like grilled cheese, I guess if you don't want the meat, and like shakes and drinks and fries. Like they don't have other stuff on the menu.
Yeah,
but you can kind of customize.
There's no onion rings. There's nothing. It's literally burgers and fries and shakes and sodas.
Exactly. That's the whole menu.
Okay. Yeah. So what do you do to what do you do?
So the first time I had it, I think I just had maybe like a cheeseburger, because that's what I would normally order at like McDonald's. And I was like, this is fine as a cheeseburger. And I think some of the locations are better than others, because there's one by my parents' house, and that one is terrible. I've never had a good In-N-Out burger experience there.
Did they move from Chicago for In-N-Out?
Yeah. They followed me. So I moved to the Bay, then they moved.
Okay.
And then they have an In-N-Out burger near them, and I've tried it every time, and it's terrible.
Every time. You're like, I'm insisting that this gets better, and it has not.
Like, maybe it's just me. And then every time I go, I'm like, no, this is bad.
Yeah.
And I brought my mom for the first time because I love In-N-Out burger, and she was like, this is not that good. And I was like, you're right, this isn't that good. I'll bring you to another one. Then I brought her to another one that was good, and she was like, okay, I understand now.
Well, and that's interesting, too. And it's because of that unique... Their marketing schedule, their marketing, that each one, because I've been like 3 times and to the same one. And it's never been very good.
You might just be at a bad one.
Yeah, it might not be a great one. It might also be slow and just okay burgers. Because I'm willing to try. I mean, I like a burger. I like a shake. I like all the things.
I mean, Jackie, I'll bring you to the one by my place. I think it's not that far from you.
Yeah,
in the drive-through. We just sit in the car for 40 minutes.
Right, right. I'll make the haul to like Los Feliz or where do you live?
No, I live like Burbank.
Oh God, yeah, I live in Van Nuys. We only live 20 minutes.
That's what I said. I think you live near me.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, I always think of you as cooler than living in Burbank.
I did used to live on the east side. Now I live up here,
right?
And then I'm trying to move to the beach.
Oh, are you? That's the coolest move is to move to the beach.
I would love to live on the water.
Yeah, I wanted to do that initially, and the woman, my friend Jennifer McLean, comic, she's great. She let me live. She was my roommate when I first moved here, and I was like, "Would you ever want to live in Hermosa Beach?" And she said, "Did you want to do stand up?" And I was like, "There's a comedy and magic club," and she said, "And that is all. That is all there is."
That's true.
So
that is true.
And so we lived in North Hollywood. Anyway, and it was great. It was everywhere. It was close. I mean,
it's very convenient. It's like central to stuff.
Mm-hmm, for sure. So there's one in Burbank that's really good. What's the sort of major cross streets?
It's North Hollywood. Okay. So it's I think it's Lankershim and Magnolia, maybe like near there.
Okay.
It's a little bit up the street though. But yeah, it's like right around there.
Fair enough.
You would see it when you drove by. Right. So anyway, so the first time I ordered it, I was like, this is fine. I got a cheeseburger, whatever. Then over time, I feel like I've picked the perfect order at In-N-Out Burger.
Okay. Yeah. You've curated your perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
So then I changed from, I'll give you the progression. So it went from cheeseburger to you can get like a double cheeseburger situation. So the double.
Right.
So it's 2 patties, 2 slices of cheese.
Yep.
And still with the bun. And I was like, okay, this is good. But then you can get it animal style, which I'm for sure you've heard of.
Right. Wait, is that the one where there's no, it's like paleo or?
No. That's protein style.
Protein style.
Which is animal? What I do now. Yeah. Okay. So I do protein style, which is no bun with lettuce.
Okay.
And I think they like invented that there possibly. And then animal style is where they put like that Thousand Island secret sauce spread situation. It has like grilled onions and pickles.
Okay. That's animal style.
So that's animal style. And you can do that animal style with the fries too, but I think that gets kind of messy, so don't do that.
It really feels it. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I don't think nobody thinks the fries are good at In-N-Out Burger. It's just a thing.
Yeah. Okay. So everyone's just the meat is where it's at.
The meat's good, and then you like one in like 50 times I'll have good fries, and every other time I'm like, well, I wanted fries. They're not good, and you just put ketchup on it and you eat it, and you're like, and you eat fries. Fine.
Yeah, I just had fries today, and they were cold, and my friend Chris was like, "Why don't you send them back?" And I said, "Nope, just gonna eat them."
That's what I do. One time they were not even cooked all the way. I was just eating potato. And I was like, sure, why not?
I don't have time to live this life.
I'll eat raw potato. Sure, why not? So I'll do it protein style, animal style, double, right?
Oh, So wait, animal style is that onion thing.
It's that sauce with the onion thing. Protein style is with the lettuce.
No bun, just lettuce. Okay.
And then double is 2 slices of meat, 2 slices of cheese.
Got it.
And then I'll add chopped chilies.
Oh, weird. They have chopped chilies?
Yeah. It's like kind of part of their secret menu.
Oh, right. Because they have this whole thing that isn't on the menu, right? Like where you have to know the words, which will kind of sell you on a fast food restaurant as well. The fact that there's some sort of weird secret club that you're like, you don't know it, but they got chilies in the back. What kind of chilies are they? They're jalapenos or no?
They're not jalapenos. I don't know what kind of chilies they are because they just call them chilies, and they're the ones they have in an Burger. They're like little pickled, kind of like yellowish chilies.
Okay, so they might be pepperoncinis or something. And
yeah, something in that family.
Are they spicy or are they just tasty?
Yeah, they're spicy.
Okay. All right. So
they're like kind of spicy and pickled.
Animal style, protein style.
Add chopped chilies.
Add chopped chilies.
Yeah,
Wow. Is it big?
It's not that big. Honestly, I could probably eat 2 of those in one sitting.
Okay.
But that's just me.
Because that's the other thing about In-N-Out Burger that I when I first went, I was like, it is the size. When you order a burger at In-N-Out Burger, you get about a McDonald's size burger.
Yeah, they're very thin. The patties are thin.
The patties
and they're kind of smallish.
Yeah. So they're not. It isn't big. How is it expensive? Is it a little more expensive than McDonald's, or almost everything
I would say it's definitely more expensive than McDonald's because I think a double right now is probably just under. Well, the order that the double thing that I order, I think it's like $4 and something.
Well, that's
$4
not bad.
and change.
It's
not bad. But I could probably eat 2 of those.
Right. So it's still a $10.
I mean, I never do. I only usually order 1. But if I really was like hungry, I could probably eat 2.
Now, Andy Ashcraft, my fella, enjoys a shake. He does not like the shakes at In-N-Out.
Really?
He said that it separated once, and it gave him a distaste of the shake. So, do you know if their shakes are they proud of their? Do they do the same thing with the processing? Like, is it dairy? Do you know?
I think it is real milk.
Okay.
And I always watch them pour the milk in the thingy. They're just like jugs of milk. So I think it's milk.
You think it's real? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, it could be a different label. I don't know what it is, but I think it's real milk and they pour it in the machine and it comes out.
There is a lot of hype around In-N-Out Burger. So that does create, and he is originally from California. Mm-hmm. So I think there's parts when you're a kid that you're really into it, and then you're too cool for it, and then you're back. And he just might be in a phase of, I don't want any part of In-N-Out right now.
That's fair.
It's been 100 years of In-N-Out. Yeah. I'll be back in a half a decade. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it's like when fashion recycles, but he's doing it with In-N-Out Burger.
Very possibly. So,
I do like the shakes, by the way. So I don't know if he had a bad shake or something. I do like the shakes.
Okay.
I don't think they're the best shakes at like a fast food place. Like I like maybe Shake Shack better for shakes.
Right, and it's in the name. So
it's in the name. They're like, we make milkshakes and also burgers.
I will sometimes get an ice cream because my guilty pleasure in the world of fast food is literally McDonald's.
Really?
Yeah, that is the thing. I enjoy a sausage and egg McMuffin.
Okay.
No hash brown square. I don't care. And one time I was driving through the drive-thru, talking to Maria Bamford on my phone, and I said, "This is a little humiliating, but you're about to hear me order at a McDonald's." And Maria was like, "I'm here for it. This is exactly why I talked to you." And so she's still on the phone. The woman at the drive-thru says, "What would you like?" I said, "I would like a kid's ice cream cone and a medium Diet Coke, please." And
well, that's all you ordered?
Yeah. Well, sometimes that is my snack of choice. Is I want a soda,
hilarious.
And I would like a tiny ice cream cone. So that's.
I didn't know they did kid sizes for the ice cream cones.
They don't really. It's it's me trying to encourage them because they are bored at McDonald's, right? They are.
Sure.
They're making $9 an hour, and sometimes for their entertainment, they will try to make the cone as tall as possible. And you're like, if you could I want like 3 bites of an ice cream cone. But if it's a tall ice cream cone, guess who's eating all of it? Irene, too.
Yeah, you're eating all of it. Yeah.
I'm eating all of it. And so, but that is my guilty pleasure of, and a sausage and egg McMuffin. I try to only eat them during breakfast hours, even though I believe that they are available at all times now.
Oh, and I will say that is a good like if you're doing a long road trip, easy thing to order and eat.
Right, and I think it was hangover food initially because it will soak up all the things. Mm-hmm. And is In-N-Out? Is there another fast food chain that you enjoy?
I like the ones that are like a little fancier, I guess, like Shake Shack or In-N-Out. Just like the ones that are a little pricier than the like traditional fast food. I have actually never had Habit. The Habit, the Burger and Grill. There's like one in, I think, North Hollywood.
Sure, there's one right by our house. Andy enjoys the Habit. I have been, and I've said to myself, yes, this is a hamburger.
Oh, it's good?
It's all right. It's but I'm just like, I don't know what I want out of a hamburger or a cheeseburger. Usually speed. It's not usually, it isn't usually a destination, hey, let's go get, because there is actually over on Ventura in between Kester and Sepulveda, there's a place called, I think, the Tipsy Cow. And it is a sit-down restaurant. And so when you get a cheeseburger at that sit-down restaurant, it is a glamorous moment. And they make an amazing shake there, too. The whole thing, it's $25. You've sat down. You've sat down. People are serving you. It might be $15-20, and then you have to tip. So it's a $25 meal.
It's like an actual meal.
Yes, you've gone out to dinner is what you've done. You're not driving through. Yeah.
I will say I honestly think the In-N-Out burger better than any other burger. Like even at the sit-down restaurants, whatever. I don't know why. Don't know how. Just the way they do their meat patties or whatever. I just think that's the best burger. That's
interesting. I genuinely have to try this again because I remember nothing about it. Maybe the bread was getting in my way too.
Oh, I mean, I've done In-N-Out burger with the buns. I just think it tastes better I don't like bread that much in general. I'm not like a huge like need to eat bread kind of person. So the bun I could like take it or leave it, but I just think it tastes better with the lettuce because it really brings out the flavor of the meat.
Okay.
So in my opinion, that's the best order.
That's the best order. Now, I don't know what else you have to say about how much you love In-N-Out Burger, but we're early days here. We have other dorkdoms. I'm not saying, but what else would you? Because I think this is good advice. If you don't enjoy it the first time, go to a different one. Go
to a different one.
Because that's how unique this chain is. They are run very specifically by individuals. So they don't franchise, I don't think, do they?
They don't. And they're never going to go public is supposedly what they've said because to keep the quality of the, restaurant. Yeah. Which I feel like that is like a big con when companies get really successful. They're like, oh, okay, we're going to make more money and become huge. And then it's like always terrible.
Right.
Like all of my favorite restaurants were like little like pop-up things. And then they're like, okay, we're making a brick and mortar. And then it just becomes bad.
Yeah.
So not great. But I will say, okay, did Andy have the Neapolitan shake? Because that's my new favorite shake.
Wait, that would be the 3 different kinds of ice cream, isn't it? No, I did not know that they had a Neapolitan.
I think that's also on the secret menu.
Oh, damn. What am I doing? Am I Googling secret In-N-Out menu?
I think you can Google the secret menu.
Okay.
It's like public knowledge on the internet. They just don't have it on their menus.
Right, they're just not printing it up. And
right.
Can you do that thing in LA where you just LA's the first place I've ever been to where you could just go in, sit down, look at the menu and go, yeah, but what if you wanted you to do this? And
I think you could probably do that.
Yeah, and then it might get added to the secret menu if it was fun. If they liked it.
Well, we already have that on the secret menu. It's called this.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's how you find out that it's on the secret menu. You're like, would you be willing to is it a shake that with layers of strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate? What is Neapolitan?
I think they put it they just put one at a time. So it's just 3 of them.
Yeah. And it is chocolate, right? It's chocolate, vanilla, strawberry.
Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, yeah.
Okay. That sounds amazing. I want a Neapolitan shake.
Yeah. I used to only get vanilla because I normally don't like chocolate shakes. I think vanilla's better.
I always start with a vanilla shake and then...
Classic.
Because if they do a vanilla shake right, they're probably going to do the rest of it right. And then sometimes I don't ever move on from the vanilla shake.
Yeah, that was my thing. Yeah. I only got vanilla shakes for years. And then this past year I was like, you know what? I'll branch out. Let me try the chocolate shake. And actually not bad.
Okay.
And then I was like, okay, let me try a Neapolitan shake. And I was like, oh, this is where it's at.
This is where it's at. Okay. All right. I'll try a Neapolitan shake. Do you, if they are stacked on top of each other, do they eventually swirl? Do they eventually mix it up?
I don't really know if they're stacked on top of each other or if they do them all at the same time and they're like next to each other.
Oh, they might be side by side?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I've never seen them put it together.
The flag of Italy? No, I don't know that. Yeah. I don't know.
Like that, but like vertical.
And who has brown on their flag?
Yeah.
Not Italy. So I think it's been they're like, I see the jokes. Let's not go with brown on the flag. So fair enough. Okay. Well, that is interesting. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah.
What else is on the secret menu?
Well, I haven't really ordered other stuff on the secret menu, but I was Googling this earlier so I could be more knowledgeable about In-N-Out Burger. There's apparently a flying Dutchman. That's on the secret menu.
That sounds dirty. What is it?
I think that's meat and cheese, nothing else.
Oh.
Which sounds horrible.
Or could just be what you can just order. Here's the hilarious thing. I just Googled the words In-N-Out secret menu. And on their website, there's a page called Not So Secret Menu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I think it's just available.
Right. Urban myth. Or just plain excellent customer service. What's a 4x4?
I think that's like 4 patties and 4 slices of cheese.
It's a quad. 4 100% American beef patties, hand-leafed lettuce. Hand-leafed. Tomato.
Yeah, apparently they hand-leaf and hand-slice their tomatoes like the morning of or whatever.
Oh, okay. Oh, so each day they cut it. Because Subway used to be like that. Subway, when Subway first came on the scene, they used to prep all their vegetables locally.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started getting processing plants. And so they, like all the onions would be pre-chopped and you'd get them in a tiny bag and it was gross. And I ate at a Subway for the first time in probably 5 or 6 years this last weekend in Washington, D.C. because the hotel was a boutique hotel. And a boutique hotel in COVID it might as well be an Airbnb. It might as well, it's just the lamest.
No restaurant?
No restaurant. Vending machine.
Okay.
Not super boutique-y. And then, and I said, is there anything? What is there anything? And the woman was like, yeah, well, there's a CVS right out the door. And I said, I will go to a CVS and buy, because the room had a full kitchen. So I was like, well, I could at least get something to nuke, And so I turned right out the door and there's no CVS. And she was like, you hang a right, it's right there. Well, it turns out, and I find this out the next day, you hang a right and then you hang another right. And it's behind a building. So it is not big and it is right there, but they did not explain it. So I just kept walking and it was like I had slept in. It was like 1 in the afternoon. I had not eaten anything. I'd had no coffee. And so now and there was no coffee at the hotel either. So I'm just like wandering the streets of DC and the first thing I see, and the only thing I see, is a Subway. And so I go into the Subway. And the last time I ate at a Subway was on the 5 driving up to the Bay Area, and I got food poisoning. So,
oh, no.
Yeah. And so, when you get food poisoning somewhere.
Oh, you never eat that again.
You never want to eat that again.
So I didn't eat Taco Bell for like over 20 years because I got food poisoning when I was a kid eating Taco Bell, and I was like, I will never eat it again.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Taco Bell is actually Andy's guilty pleasure of fast food. And I was like, all the food, all of it. All of the food comes out of a gun. I kind
of like Taco Bell.
Comes out of a gun.
Yeah.
And
it's vegan though, technically.
What?
Taco Bell's vegan, I think. Some of it.
Right. But not the meat.
No, not the meat.
The
like
cheese.
some of the other stuff.
But like the beans and everything are made with hydrogenated corn oil, so it's not. It's super vegan-y. But him and his mom will go and they'll get like chalupas and they have several items at Taco Bell that I was like, okay. Because sometimes they'll be like, we want to go to Taco Bell today. And this doesn't happen more than twice a year, which is, for me, once more a year than I've ever wanted to eat at a Taco Bell. But it's fine. And I can, I I don't hate anything, right? Anyway, by the way, I've completely taken over the conversation.
No, well, you're going to tell me the Subway thing. But go
right.
ahead.
So the Subway thing. So I had the Subway, and then it was terrible because it's Subway. It remains terrible.
The bread is horrible at Subway?
The bread is gross.
Terrible.
Everything has sort of a soapy
It's kind of wet
for me.
Everything's kind of wet.
Yeah, and I used to, like in the 90s was when it was more privately owned. And
see, that's the thing. When it's privately owned, people much better.
Yeah, it's just better. They're busy. They're chopping 1,000 onions, and it's a pain in the ass, but it tastes better. And and that was back when you would get these cards, and you would get stamps.
Oh, okay.
And if you got 10 of them, you got a free 6-inch. And a buddy of mine was on the road. We were both featuring, and he was on the road. And he was like, he called me or something like that because it was like 1993 or 94. And he was like, I'm in Colorado. Or it might have even been Oregon, and it was a triple run, and he wasn't going to get the money for another week. He's like, I don't have any. I mean, I just have money for gas, but I have 2 Subway cards.
Oh my God.
And so every 5 hours, he would get a 6-inch Subway.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, you got to borrow $40 from somebody the next time you go on the road. And that's the nature of featuring in the Midwest. But, if you want to do, that's why I never did those triple runs, because there was no way to get back.
Wow.
So, but I will say this, I finally made it to that CVS last weekend, and there was frozen food. They had a weird selection of food. They had they had some weird, they had lasagna, because there's always a frozen lasagna.
Like to microwave or something?
Yeah, to microwave. But they had a huge Korean fast food. They had soup dumplings.
Oh,
they had
that's kind of nice.
Nukeable soup dumplings. I was like, hello and welcome to after the gig.
Did you try that?
Yeah, I did. And they were good? Yeah, they were good. Yeah.
Wow.
They were delightful. I was
in the
on board.
microwave?
In the microwave, 6 of them. I don't think
I've ever seen that.
In a tray. 6 soup dumplings.
Yeah.
You just pull out the tray, obviously, stick it in the microwave, nuke it, and then you're like, take your spoon. You're like, it breaks. Right. It's got the broth in it. I mean, it was actually...
Wow.
Yeah. I can't...
I love soup dumplings.
I love soup dumplings in general, but I never thought that they would ever be at a CVS.
And microwavable. I think I've bought some that were frozen, but then you kind of steam them in a pot kind of situation.
Sure. It's because your other dorkdom is food in general, I was told. So
I just love food. That's the only thing I really if I wasn't doing comedy, I'd want to do something food related. I just love eating. I like
cooking?
Good food.
Okay.
I wish I could cook better. If I had time or really went through a midlife crisis or something, I would go to culinary school and maybe be a chef or something like that.
Oh, so you have some interest.
I love food, but I just growing up, my parents were they cooked for me all the time, but they never really had me cook with them.
Okay.
Because they were like, we'll just make it.
Right.
So therefore, I don't really.
You don't have the chops to some extent.
Exactly.
Are you an only child?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if there was more than we were given, there were 6 of us, so that we were given so many tasks. Because they had to feed so many people. They're like, no, seriously, I actually need your help.
Yeah. I don't have time. I need somebody to help. And for me, they were it's like my grandparents were living with us when I was a kid too.
Oh my gosh.
So they were we have nothing else to do besides cook for you. So
yes, you had 4
let us
adults,
cook for you.
4 adults. Someone was going to be able to make you something.
Yeah. And they're like, we don't want your 5-year-old hands touching the food when we've got this covered. Don't do anything. And I'm like, okay, so now I just can't cook that well.
That's interesting. Kilmartin has the same problem. She never cooked, really. And so, but she is learning now. She did that sort of Green Chef Happy Meal where they send you the ingredients.
Oh, they send you the food? Or they send you the ingredients to cook? Yeah.
And it's kind of idiot-proof. It's kind of great. Because they advertise on the other podcast that I do. Mm-hmm. And so they've given us free boxes of food. And I'm like, oh, well, this actually I never would have made these things. And they're usually some weird selection of spices that I might not have put together. And I also rarely, if ever, make fish at home.
Oh, I do like fish.
I love fish.
I actually do. That's like one of the things I do cook is I make salmon.
Oh, okay. Okay, do you just buy a big slab of salmon and then just sort of pan fry it? What do you do to it?
Yeah, I'll buy like salmon like at Whole Foods or whatever, and then I'll freeze some and then just take it out, thaw it, right? And then I just stick it in the oven for like 20 minutes with like lemon and rosemary and like a little bit of olive oil and salt.
And that is it.
Then it's pretty good.
Okay. Well, that's not bad. That's pretty simple. Yeah. So,
yeah. But like I would love to make like the stuff that I grew up eating, but that stuff is all really complicated. And you can't green chef it because it's like my family's recipe.
Right. What is an example of such a food that you would like to learn how to make but is fiddle and diddle?
Fiddle and diddle, that is fun.
It is fiddly, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fiddly Armenian food that I would love to make, and I don't want to. It's labor intensive.
Well, the thing is, it's so labor intensive. It's just me. I live by myself. It's literally just me.
Yeah.
And I do comedy, so I'm like, oh, I'd have to cook for like 3 hours a day. Well, I have to buy all the ingredients, then I have to cook it, then I have to eat it, then I have to do the dishes, and I have to go do comedy. Like, when am I doing this?
Right, exactly.
There's no time.
I am speaking, Rangers, just so you know, with Irene too, who has a new album out, and it's pre-order or orderable as we speak, and it's called We're Done Now, and Irene too is spelled like Irene too. Irene and then TU too, and her Twitter and Instagram is Irene_2 TU. So there we go, and we're back. So what would it be? What would something that you would like to make?
So like my mom makes a great beef noodle soup.
Okay.
And now she hand pulls all the noodles.
Okay, so she's making a beef noodle soup that she makes the noodles.
Yeah, she makes everything from scratch. So she buys the beef, she buys really high quality beef,
and then makes all stock.
Yeah, well, she makes the stock. Yeah, and I don't know what she's putting in it, like random spices and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then she makes all the noodles, and then garnishes it with cilantro. I think I don't even know.
Right.
Yeah, cilantro.
It's amazing. If she's pan-pulling noodles, that's banana land.
Yeah, that's new. She used to just we and I buy store-bought noodles from the Ranch 99 or the Chinese store.
Yeah.
But when you switch to hand-pulled noodles, that's when it changes.
Right, and the thing is hand-pulled noodles are different than homemade pasta, which are also delicious, but they are a different noodle. And the gluten and the elasticity of a hand-pulled noodle, there is one decent Chinese restaurant in the valley.
Wait, where is it?
Yeah, it's right by Ranch 99.
Okay.
On Sepulveda and Victory. It's called Sam Wu's Barbecue.
Okay.
And the first time I went there, I was like, it's just okay. I'm willing to drive 45 minutes to Monterey Park. Uh-huh. And then years go by, and then a friend of mine's mom and dad were like, you have to try it again, because they actually, if they have if it's watercress season, you can get they have I worked at I never liked Chinese restaurant food until I worked at this Chinese restaurant in Minneapolis one summer.
Oh, I didn't know you did that.
Yeah, well, I was in college, and I went to stay with my brother who lived in Minneapolis in 86, maybe 87. I think 86. And he was like, well, you're going to need a job. You could stay with, me and my wife and everybody, but, you'll need a summer job for cash. And I said, yeah, I know. And so he said, let's go for Chinese. And I was like, I don't really like Chinese food. And he said, that's because we went for Chinese with our parents in Milwaukee.
What was that, Panda Express or something?
Even worse. It was some sort of it was a buffet, and in Milwaukee at a Chinese restaurant in Milwaukee, there's usually pudding on the buffet.
Sure.
There's a chocolate pudding happening, and you're like, oh, this is a sign of the end. And so
no real Chinese person has ever eaten chocolate pudding during their meal.
Everyone loves Chinese. Everyone loves chocolate pudding. I'm not saying that you may not enjoy chocolate pudding. I'm just saying it's usually a red flag.
Yeah.
That things have gone south. And so I but this was Bill Chan owned this restaurant, and they had a help wanted sign in the thing. And I was like, well, I could eat here. I could work here. And Phil's like, go talk to them at the front thing. And the Bill was there, and he goes, do you want to start today? I need someone tonight. And I was like, no.
Wow.
No, I don't. Can I start tomorrow, please? And he was like, yeah. Because I'd been in town for a day.
Oh my God. I was like, work right now.
Yeah. Could you punch in around 3? Would that be something? And it was a different experience, right? I got to actually eat. You know when you go to a Chinese restaurant and there's always, the staff is always eating food that isn't on the menu? And there's always a table full of food, and you're just like, well, where the hell is that on the menu? That looks amazing. And that was my first introduction to any number. So I am a bit of a Chinese food snob since then. And Sam Wu's barbecue is actually quite good. Their duck is...
Okay, I have to try that one.
Yeah,
I don't really...
Duck. Yeah,
I don't really usually go out to eat Chinese food because, it's never going to be as good as whatever we ate at home.
Right.
So it's like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah, I have my Sid Sweet would never go to a Jewish deli. He was like, Sophie can make this stuff. Why am I spending money? And I was like, Sid, just give Sophie a day off. Go get yourself a sandwich, you dum-dum. It's matzo ball soup. Just go eat it. And so what do you, when you do go out to eat, where do you go? What's your favorite foods to treat yourself?
I do go to In-N-Out Burger at least once a week.
Do you?
Well, it's so close to me.
Yeah.
And it's also
and it's
open.
$4. Yeah.
It's my order in total is like $10, but it's open till 1:30.
Oh my gosh. Is it even in COVID it was open till 1:30? Drive-through?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's drive-through. So. Why wouldn't it be, I guess?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm like. So once I'm done with my late show, it's like 10:30, 11, whatever. I just stop at In-N-Out Burger, bring it home, and then I just watch Netflix.
That is hilarious. And does it stay hot?
I mean, I think the fries get cold kind of quick, so I kind of have to, but it's only like, I don't know, 5-minute drive. So
right, it is pretty close to here.
Yeah.
Every 5 or 6 weeks during the lockdown part of the pandemic, Andy and I would order a pizza, and it became.
Where do you like to get pizza from?
There's a Pizza Hut.
Oh, really? Pizza Hut?
It's delicious because it is 4 blocks from us.
Okay.
So it shows up. It is still steaming hot. It is delightful. And
it's so oily, though.
It isn't if you don't get meat on it. I don't like meat on my pizza.
Really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I feel like when I got Pizza Hut in high school, because there was a Pizza Hut really close to where I grew up, it was always so greasy.
Yeah, this one isn't greasy, though. If you get like that buttered crust, I mean, I don't know how long it's been since you've gotten a Pizza Hut pizza, but
probably 10 years.
Right. Yeah. And so they do have like a garlic crust that isn't greasy, but sometimes they butter the crust and then it does feel kind of greasy. But it is usually, this maybe every Pizza Hut is different too, because this Pizza Hut is great. And it's
maybe
delightful.
I'll have to try Pizza Hut again.
Well, but what I'm saying is that it has to be piping hot, because the next day, you know how pizza's good the next day? Pizza Hut pizza the next day? Just okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, that's like most food. It's like, especially during COVID, because a lot of the restaurants were closed and they were only doing takeout food, and a lot of it did not do well as takeout food.
Yeah. And it was interesting, the fancier restaurants that were started doing takeout food, like you could get sushi to go from places that would never.
I got sushi to go from Sugarfish once, and it was not good.
Oh, and Sugarfish.
And that place I like. It's really good.
Yeah, it used to be called Nozawa, and it was amazing. And the guy who owns Sugarfish is the son of Mr. Nozawa. But Mr. Nozawa retired, and the great thing about Nozawa, supposedly, and this is anecdotal. I don't know that this is true, but Mr. Nozawa once kicked somebody out of Nozawa's, which is where Sugarfish is on Ventura, for ordering a California roll. He was like, "Get out." And
that's hilarious if that's true.
Yeah, it is hilarious. I hope it is true.
Oh my God.
You would always go there and get the omakase, which is where they pick the best thing.
Yeah. You don't pick. You're just like, give me whatever
the freshest and whatever you're really psyched about today. Mm-hmm. And then it was usually amazing. So you got the omakase from Sugarfish and it wasn't good?
Yeah, it just didn't do well, like, to go, because they kind of, there's like stuff that goes with each other. Like, they'll be like, this goes with this sauce or like whatever, when you order at the restaurant. Yeah. But when you get it to go, they just give you all the stuff at once and there's no like directions. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm supposed to eat this with.
Right. Well, the rule with sushi, supposedly, is if it has any sort of like dressing or like tiny onions or any sort of sauce on it, you don't touch it. You just eat it as that is. Mm-hmm. But if it is dry, then you can add soy sauce and
well, they have like multiple sauces is the problem.
Well, that's interesting.
That's why I'm saying I didn't know which sauce normally went with which sushi.
Yeah, not labeled. That's weird.
No, it's not like all soy sauce. It's like other sauces. So I'm like, oh, I want to eat it like you would tell me to eat it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a giant tray with compartments. I'm like, okay. And, and it took a while to get here. So like it wasn't as cold, I guess.
Right. And that's
like
weird too.
Lukewarm sushi. And that's not good.
No, nobody wants any part of that. Yeah. It literally, sushi is hard to get to go. You might as well get a California roll from the grocery store.
Yeah, I should have. I should be like, actually, can you send me a California roll?
Call your dad. Tell him I'm getting a California roll so he can get mad at me from afar.
So is it worse now, you think?
I do. I don't think it is as good. But there's a couple of different... I mean, the thing about LA is that it has amazing restaurants, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite restaurants we went the other day is a Puerto Rican restaurant on Lankershim, just north of Burbank, sort of northeast of on Lankershim. Okay. And it's called Mofongo. And they do an amazing job there with Puerto Rican food. And I don't know that many Puerto Rican restaurants. There's more Cuban restaurants in Los Angeles than Puerto Rican.
Speaking of which.
Yep.
Porto's. You've been to Porto's.
I have been to Porto's. I like Porto's. I don't like it as much as some people love Porto's because
I'm obsessed with Porto's.
I don't like there's now what do you get at Porto's and do you try to eat in?
No, I usually take it to go because the lines are insane. Bananas. Yeah. But I will say everything on the menu super affordable.
Okay.
It's really cheap. Like to the point where I'm like, you could double or triple these prices and people would still buy it. And they're like, no, we just are like a family restaurant. This is how much we're charging. It's crazy.
Yeah. What do you get?
But I think the two best things on the menu, and I haven't tried the whole thing, menu, but the cheese rolls are out of this world.
And how do they roll them? What is a cheese roll?
I only have had them there, but like people were like, oh, the cheese rolls. And I was like, I tried it. I was like, this is like the best thing I've ever eaten.
What is it?
It's like a pastry dessert thing, and it has like cheese in it, but it's like
a cheese Danish, but done.
Yeah, it's like a cheese Danish in like a kind of
in a smaller roll kind of situation.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. Yeah. But that's the best way I could describe that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and the cheese rolls are like I could eat a dozen at one time. I mean, I would feel very sick after because that's so much
for sure
pastry.
Yeah. There's no reason to eat a dozen cheese rolls.
They're so good that like my mom hates desserts and pastries, right?
Okay.
She thinks they're all too sweet. They're all like gross, whatever.
Yeah.
I told her these cheese rolls were like so good. Oh, I'm like, you have to have one. She's like, okay, fine. She ate it. And then she bought two dozen and brought them back to the Bay Area.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, that's how good the cheese rolls are.
Okay.
And also, I like the potato balls. Those are really good.
I knew you were going to say you liked the potato balls. Here's the thing.
How did you know that?
Because everyone talks about the Porto's potato balls. And what they are is they're mashed potatoes with meat inside of them, and they have been deep fried. That's so people know. And I believe they're breaded, too.
Yeah, I think they're breaded outside of the mashed potato-y part.
Yeah, so it's a breaded mashed potato, and then inside is like ground beef and flavored. And
quite good. You have to eat them when they're hot.
Piping hot is the way to go.
Yes.
There is by me a place called Ipapa Que Rico. And Ipapa Que Rico has a Cuban, Guatemala, Venezuelan vibe. And they do all the things. They started out, Papa himself, started out as a check cashing place about 10, 12 years ago. It was a check cashing place. And then he set up his Weber. And he started grilling chicken.
That's so random, also.
He now has half of the block.
What?
It's half a block of a pastry, sit-down restaurant, and chicken emporium. It is, first of all, his chicken's really good. Papa K. Rico's baked chicken roast. It might be a rotisserie kind of but grilled. It's grilled chicken, and it's amazing. And but they have those potato balls, and they're better than Portos. Oh. So they're really good because they are really good at Portos, those potato balls. Mm-hmm. And but now I kind of want a cheese roll. So
Jackie, you're gonna love the cheese roll. You gotta.
I love a cheese Danish.
Do it with milk,
and then just a nice glass of milk. That's nice. It's
whole milk.
Yeah. Oh, I only drink whole milk.
Really? Me too.
Because a lot of people don't know because 2% and skim are thickened with something called palm oil. And
I actually didn't know that.
And when I read that, I literally have not been able to drink. I'm like, gross. I don't want to drink palm oil. I'm just going to just have milk if I'm going to have milk. And I'm just going to try not to drink all of it. How about that?
Yeah, and also people always think that whole milk is like super fatty. It's like 1.5% more milk than 2% milk. It's 3.5% milk. It's not like 20% milk. It's like slightly more milk fat.
Yeah, it's just slightly more milk fat. And then what you've done is you've just had some milk. And you were not supposed to drink that much milk anyway. So if I'm going to have milk, and I don't drink that much milk, I might have it if I have...
I mean, speak for yourself, Jackie. I'm drinking a ton of milk over here.
You're drinking a ton of milk over there? Do you have cereal? Are you a cereal
I do have cereal, but I'll just drink it by itself.
You'll just have a glass of milk? Andy Ashcraft, fan of the glass of milk.
Love a glass of milk. Do it in the morning, do it at night, middle of the day.
Just a random milk drinker. Irene, too.
I drink milk instead of water.
Oh, that is weird and interesting. Good for you. What the heck?
People hate it. People think it's disgusting. It's not popular. Well, because everyone's also like vegan now or vegan adjacent. So the fact I drink whole milk in LA is offensive.
It is hilarious to me. And really, it sums up the Dork Forest experience because this is a safe space to like whole milk, you guys.
Yeah.
So it is. I have to say that good for you. I will have milk if I'm having some. You know what I like sometimes, and not a lot. A donut. You ever get
donuts with milk?
Yeah. How about the tiny Hostess plastic chocolate donuts? I will occasionally...
I don't love a Hostess donut. Okay, so best donut place in LA.
Oh.
Obviously, Randy's.
Don't know Randy's. Where's Randy's?
You've never been to Randy's Donuts?
No, where's Randy's Donuts?
It's right by LAX, like in Inglewood with the giant donut.
Oh, okay. All right. So for people who don't live in Los Angeles, you know how when I moved here, I was like, there's going to be like wheatgrass on every corner. It's going to be an opportunity to eat a mushroom, right? I mean, that was my idea, is that the portobello mushroom industry was...
And now it's just us talking about burgers and donuts.
Burgers and donuts, because Los Angeles has more donut shops per capita than I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
Everywhere you go, there is at least one or two donuts. It's almost like bars in Milwaukee. There is donut shops every 2 feet in Los Angeles.
Isn't that ironic? Because it's like LA's all about like,
healthy,
drinking, healthy, smoothies and stuff, and it's just donut shops everywhere.
Donut shops everywhere. There is a great documentary about the origin of the because many of them are owned by Vietnamese immigrants, and it started with the first Vietnamese immigrant in I think it was the early 80s, late 70s, and then essentially family friends came, and he would help people start new donut shops. And then it was thousands of Vietnamese donut shops. And you know what else you can get at a Vietnamese donut shop sometimes? Really good Vietnamese food. It's nice. I don't know if...
Do they really have the Vietnamese food with the donuts?
Sometimes you can get a banh mi. Sometimes you can get a little vermicelli noodle. Not a pho, though some places. I don't know. I haven't seen it, but I bet. But you can sometimes get a banh mi, like with the at the donut shop. Yeah. And, but I donut shops, there is a Dunkin' Donuts right by my house.
Oh.
They have the best coffee.
Yeah, but I don't think they have the best donuts, which is,
they do not
again,
have
ironic.
The best donuts. It is ironic because that's their whole jam. But I will say this about a Dunkin' Donuts, how much I love their coffee. I will go in to get a coffee, an iced coffee. And then
you're like, get a donut. Yeah.
I've not made a stone. There's a whole, they're a nickel, right?
Yeah, they're really cheap. But then you eat it and you're like, oh, this should be better.
This should be better. I wish I hadn't eaten it. This was a waste.
It should be hot. They're never hot.
They're never hot. There is an amazing donut shop sort of on Kester near Sherman Way that Andy likes he's a big fan of the moderation, which I don't approve of. But he will get an apple fritter. I don't know if you've ever had.
I do like a fritter, sure.
And he will take 3 days to eat an apple fritter.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
It's ridiculous.
He's like actually rationing the dessert.
I'm full. He'll cut a third of it off, make it for breakfast, put it in a plastic bag the next day.
That's insanity.
It doesn't. The only way, he has a sweet tooth, so he will eat sweets. The only way that I don't eat all of his shit, all of his nonsense, he's got chocolate everywhere around the house, is because I'm the youngest of 6. I can, and I do, tell myself that isn't my food. And because I'm the youngest of 6, I don't eat anybody else's food, or I will be murdered by my siblings. So,
So you just leave it for Andy.
I just leave it for Andy.
Eat it slowly while you're staring at it for days.
He will sometimes say to me, "Do you want a Dove chocolate?" And I'll be like, "Yes. Yes, I do." And he will hand me a Dove chocolate. He's got those Trader Joe's peanut butter cups. The little peanut butter cups.
Okay, yeah, those are good.
Those are good. He's got those. He's got Dove dark chocolates. He's got...
Do you guys like the Ferrero Rocher? The Ferrero Rocher, whatever those things are called, the circle things?
I don't mind them when the mint chocolate ones. Those are nice. Yeah.
Those are... I think that's different. That must be different.
Okay.
Like the Andes chocolates?
No, I don't like an Andes chocolate. Those ones taste like toothpaste.
Yeah, that's why I like those.
Oh, do you? Well, you have good teeth.
I'm eating toothpaste.
Irene, we have weeded off from In-N-Out, but we've just gone into like sweet treats and food, and this has been a lovely dork for us.
That's all I want to ever talk about is what food is good and what food is not good and overrated. And I don't know if people like that or not, or if they're like, oh, we're sick of food, or if they love it, you know?
I think people love it because people love food. Because almost all people, except for there was a comic. I knew a comic in Minneapolis. He's still alive. I still know him. His name is Dave Mordahl. He was in the first season of Last Comic Standing. Him and Rich Voss became super good buddies. And he only eats once a day. He drinks coffee and smokes cigarettes and eats like a meatloaf sandwich. And that is it. And it is such a weird... He doesn't like food.
That's so weird.
He just likes cigarettes and coffee. And I was like, you are like... do you ever see Midnight Run? Charles Grodin and...
If it's a movie, I've never seen it.
Okay, it's a movie. It's got moving pictures and everything. And and it's a buddy movie, and it's quite funny. A little cussy, if people are out there with children. But it's... famous Italian, spacing his name. Everyone is just yelling at their iPods. No one's listening to this on an iPod.
That would be pretty funny.
And I will get emails, Jackie at JackieCation. I'm listening to this on an iPod. Anyway, he was in Taxi Driver. Any idea what I'm talking about? Nope.
Jackie, as I've said, if it's a movie, I have not seen it.
You're right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they do have a grilled cheese. At the, I'm weirdly enough still.
Oh, I told you they have grilled cheese at In-N-Out Burger. I said that.
But it isn't on the menu. You're right. It's on the.
It's a secret menu. Yes.
It's on the secret menu, but the secret menu is literally just 6
Not a secret.
items. Like 6.
I think there's more than that also.
Yeah, that's weird. You would think that there would be. My favorite, and I've mentioned it on this program before, right now, one of my favorite places is a pop-up place called Bread and Breakfast.
Okay.
Right? And it is an Armenian burrito and taco place.
What is Armenian food, by the way?
It is Middle Eastern food. It is a variety.
Okay.
It is real close to Israeli, Turkish, Lebanese. Good work is being done with bread and meat. But there is a certain kind of like an Armenian prosciutto, unless it's dried, that it becomes sort of like an Armenian beef jerky, and it's called basturma, and it is very spicy, garlic spicy, and it's delicious. And they make a basturma burrito that makes you want to roll over like a dog and have your belly scratched, and ridiculous. And then they also have an Armenian sausage burrito called sojuk, and sojuk is and you can get either of those encrusted in cheese, which is dumb and unnecessary. Except for is it unnecessary? Not if you love cheese. I don't. I'm okay with cheese. I'm from Wisconsin. I can't. I've had enough cheese. It's fine.
I think cheese is good if it's part of the dish, but I don't like excessive cheese.
Yeah, I'm good. I like cheese, but it doesn't have to be. There was a time when I first moved to Los Angeles that I tricked myself into saying that I didn't like cheese and I didn't like bread and that I didn't like
fit
sweets. Yeah, to that. And I lost a bunch of weight. And it actually, there's something because in Los Angeles, when you move to Los Angeles, there is something on the air that is just order the salad. It's in the zeitgeist. It's weird. And it takes years to quiet that voice.
That's so funny.
And
so true. Because I do feel like I've also witnessed some friends of mine that have moved to LA where they did do that, where they're like, now I only eat salads and I'm keto and whatever. Mm-hmm. And then like 5 years later, they'll just back to what they were eating before.
Right. It's like sort of like what you said, where you're like, I don't really eat bread. I don't really like it. And that might have been, we don't know. We may never know, Irene, too. If that's really you or if that's just in the air. Yeah. That you've been convinced by the Los Angeles.
But I never really liked bread, like even as a kid.
Okay. Yeah. It's
not like a huge carbs person.
We never had potatoes when I was a kid. We only had rice.
Well, we did eat a lot of rice because,
Do you still eat a lot of rice? Is that your carb of choice?
If I'm home with my family, we do eat a lot of rice. I don't personally cook a lot of rice because I could kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah. Okay. So still nothing. Like there's like noodles, rice.
I prefer
bread.
Noodles to rice.
Okay.
And for me, the order would be noodles, rice, and then bread.
And then potatoes.
No. Okay. Potatoes and noodles at the top.
Yeah.
Rice, then bread.
Okay, interesting.
I do like potatoes. I like potatoes.
I like rice, and then I like bread, and then I like noodles, and then I like potatoes.
Oh, you really don't like potatoes?
Yeah, I think potatoes maybe above bread. Probably not. I don't like potatoes. I'm unmoved.
Wow. You don't like a mashed potato? You don't like a baked potato?
Oh, I don't like a
French
baked potato. I don't mind a fry or a mashed, but you know what I kind of like in the world of a starchy, carb heavy root vegetable is I like a squash.
Oh,
I like we never even had squash until I grew up because Nancy Cation, not a great cook, didn't want to do it.
I don't love a squash.
Well, it can be. You got to get the right squash, and you have to have them prepared in a way that you're like, oh, okay. Like I like a baked pumpkin, and I like a baked. There's an amazing squash that I could never find. It's called a sweet dumpling squash, and it looks kind of like a delicata, but it isn't. And there is a tiny bug that is in this room.
Yeah, I keep seeing you swat a fly. That was pretty fun. You just went.
Yeah, I know. That's why there's video, you guys. Hey, we've gone over, Irene, too. This has been a delight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Rangers of the Dork Forest, you're familiar probably with her work because a lot of you are from the Bay Area. She's a Bay Area comic. She lives here in Los Angeles now. Her name is Irene, too. It's IRENE_TU on the Twitter and the Instagram. Her new album is called We're Done Now, and it's available at least for pre-order and probably streaming, probably for purchase. Get on it. Thank you so much for doing the show.
Thank you so much for having me, and feel free to send me food recs, Jackie, and fans.
Oh, there you go. And You know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?